Welcome to the Conservation Corps North Bay Staff Training Module number 10, Executive Functioning Skills Computer Simulated Examples. In Module 9, the concept of executive functioning skills was presented, and it was explained as a higher order brain-based ability to make it possible for us to choose our goals and guide our behaviors in such a way that we could be successfully in reaching our goals. And the executive functioning skills also help us to avoid behaviors that would interfere with our being successful. Their executive functioning skills are absolutely essential for our self-regulation of our own behavior, and therefore they would lead to successful goal attainment. Metaphorically, we could look at executive functioning skills very similar to like an air traffic controller at an airport who is responsible for making sure that all of the incoming and outgoing flights arrive and depart safely and on time. And when one's executive functioning skills are working properly, everything seems to just be in working order and to fall in place. In this module, you'll get a chance to try your hand and your mind out on some computer simulations on the following executive functioning skills. Flexibility, we'll take a look at flexibility, the ability when faced with a difficult situation to be flexible in thinking and coming up with different ways of solving problems. We'll talk about, you'll have a simulation on working memory, or some different kinds of memory, on sustaining attention to a task, and then two that have to do with metacognitive processes, one metacognition and the other planning and prioritizing. There is no worksheet accompanying this module, but you are going to need, it would be a great idea if you had a notebook and something to write with, or several sheets of paper, because you're going to be writing down a bunch of responses. So if you need to, put the video on pause and go and get the necessary materials you need and come back, and we'll turn the video back on and then we'll continue. All right, go ahead. Okay, now the graphic on your screen presents the two major categories of executive functioning skills that we had discussed in Module 9. The first subset of skills that deals with behavior regulation are the ones depicted in the yellow here. And these skills determine how we react to situations and how we accomplish our goals. We'll look at 3 of these 7 skills. We're going to look at flexibility, at working memory, and at sustained attention. And then next, we'll look at executive functioning skills dealing with metacognition, which are the ones down here, the 5 down here that are included in green. And we'll look at metacognition, and then we're going to look at planning and prioritizing. The goal of this module is twofold. Number one, to give you a sense of what strategies may be used to help individuals improve or maintain their executive functioning skills. And to make the point that even though executive functioning skills are formed very early on in life, as we've mentioned, and they're very susceptible to trauma and stress and adverse conditions in early life, they're not static. And with practice, they can be sharpened and maintained. So when working with individuals who may show some executive functioning skill deficits, it might be helpful to introduce them to some strategies that may help to ameliorate and remediate their executive functioning skills. Well, let's take a look at the flexibility one. Okay, so we have flexibility or response inhibition, the ability to inhibit a response that is not goal-directed, will not help us. Response inhibition is one's ability to inhibit or control a quick response to some stimulus without taking the time to assess the situation or to consider the consequences of such a response. It also includes the ability to focus on the task at hand and to be flexible enough to block out information that might interfere with accomplishing the task. So you're about to take part in a computer simulation that will give you an opportunity to demonstrate your ability to focus on the task at hand and to ignore irrelevant information. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you, in your notebook or on some of the sheets of paper you have, to just put the numbers 1 to 20. 1 to 20 because you're going to write down some responses. You can put the video on pause and do that and then turn the video back on again. Okay. So you have your paper numbered from 1 to 20. And here's our task. We have 2 columns. On the column on the left-hand side, the heading says meaning. The column on the right-hand side, it says text color. So here's how this is going to work. Here's an example. The word black here is written in red ink, but even though it's written in red ink, you're to pay attention to the meaning. So the meaning is black. Now the text color, the word is blue, but you're not interested in that. The text color, the color of this text is black. So this is a match. The meaning, which is black, matches the text color, which is black. So on your paper, you would put an M for a match. Let's take a look at this second example. Here, the meaning is black, and the word happens to be black. And the text color here is blue, and the word is blue. This is not a match because the meaning, black, does not match the text color, which is blue. So you would put an N here for no match. Let's look at example 3. Here, the meaning is green. The text color is green. This would be a match, even though the word green is written in red ink, and even though the word blue is in green. This would be a match because this says green as a meaning, and the word blue is in green text color, so this is a match. Let's take a look at this. The meaning is black. The text color is black. Even though the word is blue, we're interested in the text color. This would be a match also. Let's just review that again. This column is going to give you a word, and that is going to be the meaning. So the meaning here is black. This column gives you a text color, and the text color needs to match the meaning, and in this case it does match the meaning because it's black, and so you would put an M for a match. Here, the meaning of the word is black. The text color of this is blue, so this would not be a match. You would put an N there. Okay, well, hopefully you have the directions. If not, you can just push the video back a little bit and listen to those explanations again. Now, when I activate the program, it's going to say ready, set, go, and then words are going to flash in both of these boxes very quickly. You're going to see them for less than a second. And then you will write down M if it's a match, or N for no match. All right, let's try it out.
Ready. Get set. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
And here are the correct responses. You may want to put the video on pause and you can check out your responses and see how you did. And once you've done that, then just turn the video back on again. Well, okay. Well, that's response inhibition and flexibility. Now we're going to take a look at memory. So we're going to look at some simulations from memory. And of course, memory is an extremely important executive functioning skill. And the computer simulation you're about to experience will exercise two different types of memory that we have. One is called short-term memory, and one is called working memory. We're going to deal with short-term memory first. Short-term memory is the ability to take in information, hold it for a while, a very brief period of time, and then to forget it. And an example of how we use short-term memory might be, suppose you ask someone for their phone number, you want to put it in your iPhone contact list. So they tell you their phone number, you remember it, you type it into your contact list, and you save your contact list, and then you forget their phone number. In 2 minutes from now, you won't even know remember what the phone number is. And of course, this is a very important skill because we need to have part of our memory that will hold information just for a short time and then get rid of it. Otherwise, our brains would just be way, way too cluttered with information. All right, well, let's take a look at how this is going to work. First of all, I'd like you to take a sheet of paper and number it from 1 to 20 again. So if you want to, put the video on pause and go ahead and number your paper from 1 to 20, and then turn the video back on again. Okay, now this computer simulation is going to give you a chance to work and practice your short-term memory. You'll see we have one column here and it says 6 numbers or less, and here's how this is going to work. Numbers are going to flash in this box right here very quickly, and you have to look at the number and then write it down. So let me give you an example here. So you would write 613, I missed the last 2 on that one, or 73607, 32059, 395457, and so on like that. So when I activate the program, it will start, and you'll get ready, set, go, and then it's going to flash very quickly 20 numbers, and you need to write them down. So you're going to have to remember them in your short-term memory long enough to write it down, and then go to the next number. All right, here we go.
Ready, set, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
And here are the correct responses. And again, you may want to put the video on pause just so you can check how you did, and then turn the video back on, and then we'll continue. Okay, let's go to working memory, part 1. Now, working memory is a little different than short-term memory. Working memory takes in information, it processes it, it does something with that information, it carries out what it was going to do, and then it forgets. So it's similar to short-term memory in terms of it remembers something for a brief period of time, but with working memory, you actually have to do something with the information that comes in. So here, you're going to need to number your paper from 1 to 20 again. So take some time, put the video on pause, and number your paper from 1 to 20, and then turn it back on again, and we'll continue. Okay, now what this is like, I'll give you an example, is a number is going to flash up, and you have to write the number backwards. So this number is 7090, but you would have to write on your paper 0907. So you have to do the reverse of the number. So that's how you're manipulating the information. You're taking in the information and you have to manipulate it. Let's take another example. Okay, so here, this is 8121, but what you need to write is 1218. Here you would write 9944. Here, 6996, and so on. So that's your task. Okay, and again, it's going to go just like the others. It's going to go very quickly, and you have to write the reverse of the number. So here we go.
Ready, set, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Okay, this is the number written the correct way, and then this is the reverse. So this is the column you want to look at here. You may want to put the video on pause, see how you did, and turn the video back on again. Okay, and now we're going to working memory part 2. Here, again, this is working memory, so data is going to come in, you're going to have to manipulate it and then produce it. Now here's how this works. Here's an example. Number is going to be flashed on the screen. What you need to do is add up all the numbers. So 3 plus 9 is 12, plus 1 is 13, so 13 would be your answer here. Here it would be 8 plus 2, which would be 12. Here it would be 2 and 6, that would be 8. And here 9 and 7 is 16 and 3 is 19. So here you have to take in the information and then you have to add the numbers up and put that in the box. So you'll need to number your paper from 1 to 20 again and put the video on pause if you need time to do that. Go ahead and put it on pause and then turn it back on and then we'll start. Okay, well, let's start now. Here we go.
Ready, set, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20,
And here are the correct responses. Again, you may want to shut the video on pause and check your work, then turn the video back on again. Okay, well, so that's working memory and short-term memory. We're going to look at another behavior regulation, executive functioning skill, sustaining attention. Selective attention is considered the ability to focus on the relevant or important information about a task or goal that you need to accomplish while being able to ignore the irrelevant or unimportant information that will get in the way of your completing your goal or your task. I mean, an example might be you might be taking a test, and if you do well on the test, you'll get a promotion in your job and you'll get a significant pay raise. And you're sitting next to a person who's taking the test also, and they have earphones on and they're listening to music, and they're listening and it's loud and you can hear it. If your selective attention is in good shape, you'll be able to block out that irrelevant information or data or noise that's coming in, and you'll be able to stay focused on what your task is and to accomplish your task. So we're going to participate in a little computer simulation. I'm going to give you some examples to show you how it works. So here's the first example. What's going to happen is 5 birds are going to appear on your screen in different configurations. Your goal is to just focus on the middle bird. You're only interested in the middle bird, and you're interested in what direction their beak is pointing. So in this case, the beak is pointing to the right. So you would then, on your paper, you would mark R for right. If the beak were pointing up, you'd mark U for up. If it were pointing to the left, you'd mark L for left. And if it were pointing down, you'd mark D for down. Okay, so that's the first example. Let's take a look at the second example. Okay, now here are the 5 birds. By the way, you will not see this. This is just here to for the directions, but this will not show up on the screen. You'll only see the 5 birds. Well, now here, the middle bird, which you're interested in, the beak is pointing to the left. All the other birds are pointing the other way. So you would mark L for left. let's take a look at one more example. So this is how you'll see it. You won't see that bottom part. Now here, the middle bird, the beak is pointing down. So you would mark D for down. So again, if the beak of the middle bird, that's all you're interested in, is pointing down, you would put D for down. If it's pointing to the right, you would put R for right. If it's pointing up, you would put U for up. And if it's pointing left, you would put L for left. So what you're going to need to do, pardon me, you're going to need to number your paper from 1 to 25 this time because there are 25 examples. So go ahead, put the video on pause, do that, and then I'll turn the video back on again. And then you turn the video back on again, and then we'll continue. So go ahead. Okay, so here we go. So you're going to hear ready, set, go, and then you're going to see 25 images, and you need to either up, U for up, R for right, D for down, L for left. Here we go.
Get ready. Get set. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25.
And here are your correct responses. Again, you may want to put the video on pause and just check that out and see how you did. Then turn the video back on and we'll continue. Okay. So now we're going to take a look at metacognition. And do 2 simulations with that. So let's go to this one first. Okay, logical reasoning. Logical reasoning is the ability to combine multiple cognitive processes together to recognize patterns or draw conclusions, make decisions, and solve problems. And the following computer simulation is designed to give you an opportunity to exercise your executive functioning using logical reasoning. You're going to be presented with several problems where you're given directions or a set of rules to follow. And your task is to follow the rules or the directions and arrive at a successful solution. However, some of the problems that you encounter may not have a solution. And in that case, you're going to have to choose the option that the problem is not solvable or it's impossible to solve. And one other point I'd like to make. Some of the directions or rules that you will receive are in the form of if-then statements. An if-then statement or rule has 2 parts to it. One is the part that follows the word if, and the other is the part that follows the word then. And so you can see our silly example up here. If today is Monday, then today cannot be Sunday. That's an if-then statement. The if-then statements can be tricky, but here's a hint for you. If the first part of the if-then statement is false, if it's false, then just disregard the entire statement. Don't pay any attention to the rest of the statement. So if the first part is false, then forget the direction or the rule. Skip and go on to the next one. All right, let's see how this is going to work now. Okay, the goal of this simulation is to place the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the proper positions, position A, B, C, D, and E, according to the rules that are given. So there are 3 sets of rules that are given here. So you're to place these numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, in position A, B, C, D, and E, according to these rules, to see if you can solve the problem. So what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to put the video on pause and then try and solve this problem by putting these numbers in their proper spaces. Now, my suggestion is you write down these positions on your paper so that you can play around with them and move the numbers around until you get it right. So put the video on pause, try and solve this problem following the 3 rules that are given, and then turn the video back on again, and then we'll take a look at the solution. Okay. Well, let's see how this works. Let's take a look at rule number 1. It says if 5 or 2 is in position E, then 5 must be next to 1. Well, okay, this is an if-then statement. Well, let's start by putting 5 in position A. By doing this, we can disregard the entire if-then statement because the first part of the statement is false. 5 or 2 is not in position E, so we can disregard this now. Now, let's take a look at rule number 2. 4 or 1 must be in position B. 4 or 1 must be in position B. Well, let's try 4 in position B, because that follows, it says 4 or 1, so we put 4 there. We're just trying this out. Now, let's see the third rule. 2 must be next to 3. Well, okay, so let's put 2 here, just put 3 here, and then that leaves us with 1. And the rules don't say anything about 1, so we can put 1 here if we wanted to, and we'd be fine. And I think this would be a possible solution. Yeah, we figured it out. Now, we also could have, I think, it says 4 or 1 must be in position B. Okay, 4 is in position B. And then it says 2 must be next to 3. Well, we could have probably put 3 here and 2 there and 1 there, and that would have been the same. Or we could have put 3 here and 2 here, and that would have solved it also. Well, okay, so let's take a look at the next one. Now, this problem, the number 2 is already put in position B, so we can't move that. That's given. So now we have to try and follow these rules and see if we can come up to a solution for this problem. And again, if I were you, I would write down the position so you can play around. So put the video on pause and let's try and come up with a solution, and then turn the video back on and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, well, let's look at direction 1. It says that 5 must be to the right of 1. Well, we could try 5 in position E and 1 in position A, and that certainly would put 5 to the right of 1. 1 is here and 5 is here to the right. Direction 2 says that 2 cannot be next to 4. Well, if 2 cannot be next to 4, then 4 would have to go in position D, because 2 can't be next to 4. And direction 3 states that 4 must be to the left of 1. Well, that's not going to work. 4 cannot be to the left of 1. 4 cannot. This doesn't seem to work under these conditions. So let's reset and try again and see what we can come up with. This time let's start with direction 2. Direction 2 states that 2 cannot be next to 4. So 4 has to go either in position D or position E, because it can't be next to 2. Can't go to position A. So let's put 4 in position D. Just, okay. Now direction 3 says that 4 must be to the left of 1. So let's try 1 in position E, because 4 has to be to the left of 1. Now, direction 1 states that 5 must be to the right of 1. Well, to be to the right of 1, it would have to be here. So that's not going to work. So it appears that there is no solution to this. Let's see. We're correct. There is no solution to it. All right, let's try one more. Okay, now like example 2, this example starts out with 5 being placed in position E, so we can't do anything about that. All right, so put the video on pause, use these 3 rules, and try and solve the situation. Again, I would write down the position so that you can play around with the numbers. Put the video on pause and then turn it back on again, and we'll take a look and see what we come up with. Okay, let's look at direction 1. It's an if-then statement that states that if 5 is in position A, then 4 must be next to 3. Well, 5 cannot be in position A because it was placed in position E, and it can't be moved. Since the if part of the if-then statement is false, then we can disregard the entire if-then statement. So we don't even have to pay any attention to direction number 1. Let's skip direction 2 for the time being and go to direction 3, which states that 5 or 2 must be in position C. Well, since 5 has been put in position E, then 2 by default has to go into position C. Now let's go back to direction 2, which states that 4 cannot be next to 2. Well, if 4 cannot be next to 2, then 4 cannot go here and 4 cannot go here. So 4 has to go into position A. Okay, so we're left with the numbers 1 and 3. And since the directions don't tell us anything about the placement of the 1 and the 3, we can place them in the open positions B and D as we please. So we can put, doesn't matter, we can put this here and this here. Now I think we've met all the directions. Let's see. Direction 1, if 5 is in position A, then 4 must be next to 3. Well, 5 was placed by the software into position E. So this statement, the first part of the if then, is incorrect, so we disregard direction number 1. Direction number 2 says 4 cannot be next to 2. So we put 4 in position A, so it's not next to 2. And this says 5 or 2 must be in position C, and 2 is in position C. So we've met all the requirements, so we are correct. Well, good. So that's an example of some logical reasoning software. And by the way, there are several commercial computerized programs like Lumosity or Brain IQ, and I'm not advocating these or pushing these, but these are all designed to teach executive functioning skills. And they have many software simulations that teach these skills. Also, there are many, you know, if you take something as simple as the telephone game, where if you have a group of people, you start with one person and you give them a message, and then they turn around and whisper to the next person and the next one. All of those simple little games like that, they're all designed to teach young children executive functioning skills. Okay, well, let's continue on. We have one more skill to look at, and this will be planning and prioritizing. Okay, and this is a very important skill. It's the ability to assess a problem, to prioritize the necessary steps to solve the problem, to put a plan in place, and then to see how your plan works out. Okay, now this is how this simulation works. This is your ship right here, and these are pirate ships. And you'll notice the green pirate ship, it has a line like this, so it will move when the simulation turns on. It will move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on. And this black pirate ship will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and keep going. And this pirate ship will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on and so on and so on. Our job is to move our ship, avoiding being hit by the pirate ships, and get over here and get the treasure. Now, here are the rules. We can only move our ship on the dark green squares. So we can't go on the light green squares. So we can go here and stuff like this, but we can't go on any of the light green squares. We can move up, up, back, up, back, up, over, back, as many times as we want. Up and back, or down and back, and this and that, as long as we avoid the pirate ships and we get to here. Now, what I'd like you to do is put this video on pause. Try and come up with a solution. How are you going to move? Up, down, this, that, back, forth, and see if you can get to the pirate ship, if you can get to the treasure here without colliding with any of the pirate ships. So go ahead, put the video on pause, try that out, and then turn the video back on and we'll look at a solution. Well, okay. Now this can be really tricky, these problem-solving ones. I'm going to give you one possible solution that I worked out. So let's take a look at it. We'll put this in motion. Going up, up, over, down, up, down, down, over, and down. Let's see if that gets it. Yes, it did get it. Okay. Well, now that is an example of problem solving. Okay, so that's it for the module. Again, the purpose of this module was to give you a sense of there are a lot of different strategies out there, a lot of different games you can create. You can, if you have an employee who doesn't seem to be able to follow directions, maybe you want to back up your directions. Instead of giving 3 or 4 step directions, maybe you want to start out by giving 1 and 2 step directions and things like that. There are many, many different ways that you can go about helping individuals to improve their executive functioning skills. And also the second part is to realize that we all have our own unique individual executive functioning skill profiles. We have strengths and weaknesses, and that they're not set in stone. That if we can put individuals in situations where we can practice them, where they can be taught in classrooms, that this will be ways of helping improve and maintain executive functioning skills. All right, thank you very much. See you in the next module.